Good morning. Hello, hi, and welcome to this week's Fiberific live craft and chat. Lots of you in the chat before the stream. Louise left. So I'm a bit frazzled. There's noise going on all around me, and Louis keeps going off at it. So I just want to apologize up front if the yapping happens. I may have to disappear and grab him and lock him in this room with me. But yeah, we're gonna wing it. It's a live stream. It's what we do, right? If you can let me know if you can hear, if you can see, all those kinds of good things. I'm having one of those really self-focusing weeks, or at least the last 2 days have been very, very self-focused, which feels weird. Like I tend to I do tend to do a lot of stuff on my own, but it's not normally focusing on myself. So this week I had some appointments to go to. So I had my first exercise physiologist appointment, which was so daunting, and I was so nervous because it's been a long time since I've done anything like that. And I can honestly say my arms hurt still. That was Tuesday. Today is Thursday for me. And we did a lot of upper body work, and my arms like, hi, did we mention we haven't done much for a while and you made us do a lot and now we hurt? Don't try and do anything. On Wednesday I woke up and my arm was like on this angle where it was just like, nope, not moving it, nope, but I stretched it out and it's a lot better now. But then yesterday I had a lovely massage, and even they were like, oh yeah, you did some stuff, didn't you? Like, yes, I did. But I feel amazing for it. Like that whole little, it's serotonin boost. Is that the one? Like the little bit of, stuff that goes on in your brain when you do something that you're really excited and proud about and gets the energies pumping. I have no idea. I'm making it up as I go, but that's how I feel. I feel like there's like an artificial mood enhancer going on. The other thing was dietitian appointment, which was exciting. Not. I was honestly expecting it to be really bad. I was really, because I had to keep a food diary for a week and just take photos of everything that I ate. And I was expecting it to be really bad. And it wasn't awesome. Like, I'll be honest, and doing that, keeping that monitoring and stuff, I realized that, okay, coffee plays a large role in my life. I mean, I have 3 cups a day. So I have 2 in pretty quick succession in the morning and then 1 mid-afternoon, and then I'll drink tea any other time. And she was like, the dietitian was lovely and really kind and was just like, do I have all the photos? Is this all the photos? And I'm like, yeah, I've put them into each day and, took a screenshot of each day. And she's like, can you just double check for me? And I'm like swiping through. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's it. And she's like, did you take photos of everything? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, okay, even without looking at what you're eating, you're not eating enough. And I was just like, wait, sorry, I need to lose some of this. And you're telling me I need to eat more. And she's like, yeah, you're not eating enough to fuel an invalid's body who's bedridden. And I was just like, oh, okay. So we've got some plans for that. I have to add protein to my food, and some things are easy, throw an egg in with your salad, that sort of thing. And that's easy enough. But I just had she suggested a snacks instead, because every now and again I'll steal a muesli bar out of Abby's lunchbox snacks. And so she's like, instead of stealing one of those, buy yourself this box of this other stuff. And she goes, I'm not going to lie to you. It tastes like you're eating a dirt cheap chocolate bar. They don't taste awesome, but it will hit all the same craving points, except it'll also give you protein and it's got less sugar and all this sort of stuff. And I ate one this morning and I was just like, yeah, describing it as a cheap chocolate bar was probably the best way to lower expectations. But I was just like, oh man, I did not like that whole added protein powder feel. So yeah, it is not my favorite. Let's go with that. Kickstart the metabolism. That's right. That's what I have to do. Apparently it's not normal to require alarms to tell you when it's time to eat, because your body doesn't. So yeah. You need a sandwich. Yes. I know. Isn't it the weirdest thing? I really went in expecting like the whole, you're going to have to cut this out and you have to stop doing this and you've got to stop doing this and you're going to start doing this. And it was none of that. It was just like, is this it? No, this isn't right. And I was like, okay, now with the coffee, she's like, 3 coffees is fine. And I was like, really? And she's like, she goes, some people come in having 8. And I'm like, okay, 3 is fine. I'm not going to, coffee is off the table. And I really like having those 3. She's like, well, how do you have your coffee? And that was the next discussion we had. You know, do you have sugar in it? Do you have like it made on milk? And I don't do either of those things. So she was just like, yeah, it's fine. Go hard. I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks. Speaking of cups, I don't have coffee in my cup today because I already had my 2 this morning. This is just tea. It's just tea. It's not fancy tea. It's whatever tea is in the tea bag jar next to the kettle. It comes in, it's Twinings in a blue box. I don't know. Lady Grey? It might be Lady Grey. I do like Lady Grey. So let me know what you've got in your cup. So yeah, I was waiting for you to say boo to 3. Yeah, me too. I was like, seriously, I was panicking because Abby gave me a Maxi Bon one day, which is like a chocolate ice cream sandwich thing. I ate that. And then she was just like, look, I'm not going to lie. There's probably a few sweet things in here that you could ditch. She's gone, but I bet some of these things have stories because the photo is of Abby like holding it up, like going, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, they do. And she's like, well, you got to think about it. How would your daughter have felt if she was trying to, because Abby did something and she gave me the Maxi Bon as like a, I'm sorry, mum, sort of thing. And she's like, how would Abby have felt if you declined the ice cream sandwich? And I was like, oh, probably not great. She's like, then it was worth it. I was like, oh, okay. So this lady has like a holistic life approach to food. So I'm like, I think I'm in the right place. Game Widow says, last blood test, GP was expecting my blood sugar to be high. Nope, came back with, you need a sandwich right now. Yeah, I'm always like some of you guys already know, like I'm like this enigma to the medical world. Like I am obviously very overweight. You have eyes. But then, I perplex them because they can't come at me with the usual, your blood sugar's high, you've got high cholesterol, your blood pressure's high. I don't have any of that. Everything of mine's like in the little like perfect ranges. And it really, new doctors, I swear it bothers them because then they're like, oh, but you still need to lose it. And you're like, yeah, I get that. But like, I need help. So yeah, she does sound fab. She really does. Yeah. So far, like I've had 2 visits with her now. So we'll see how we go. I go back in a month, like with some, and I realized this morning I was talking about, like talking to myself because I walk around the house talking to myself like, okay, today I need to make sure I've got this out for dinner and this, and I just say it out loud. I've realized it's not even in my head. I just walk around the house talking. So the dog feels like I'm talking to him. That's what it is. It's got nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with making sure the dog feels included. So this morning I was like, okay. And then for lunch today, I'm going to try that weird pasta. And my brain just went, it's probably not a good idea to start calling it the weird pasta. So because I do like pasta, rather than just having like standard, everyday pasta all the time, which I can totally have when I'm making meals for the family, she said that when I'm making myself a little bit of pasta for lunch, rather than having the standard pasta, just to try this other pasta, which I can't remember the name of it right now. Just bought it at Woolies, didn't need to go to a special store. It's made on like chickpeas and stuff instead of wheat. Anyway, it's a different color and it comes in a different box. It's also about 5 times as expensive. But if it's just for me for lunch, I can justify that, at least this week. So we'll see. We'll see if I like the weird pasta. So yeah, because she said, everything I put on the pasta looks fantastic. It's just maybe the pasta needs to be a bit more lower glycemic, so it keeps me going for longer. You guys know the drill. I'm just having a look in here. Josephine's got something interesting in her cup. The Dilmah Rose and French vanilla tea, which I have to buy online because Coles discontinued it again. That's so annoying when they do that. Holly will be listening while driving. Hey, Holly, try not to crash. Chintami has posh tea, loose leaf Darjeeling from T2. Nice. Chintami says, I've got a nasty cough. It's the first time since the masks came in. Like, you know what? I'll say this, and I'm going to say it like people are going to be annoyed with me, and I'm going to say it anyway. I did not get sick for the last 2 years. I get sick all the time. But I still had asthma, but I didn't catch any colds. And I think it was because I was wearing a mask and other people were wearing masks. So, yeah, I was okay with it. I was okay with not being sick. So, we'll work on it. Kathy says that she has pasta that's gluten-free, which is made with corn and brown rice. Nice. I'm going to go and grab the box. Is that all right if I go and grab the box so we can look at it? Because I can't remember what it's made out of and it's doing my head in and I need to, to sort it out. Masks rule, yeah. Not everybody agrees, and I understand that not everybody agrees. I really do, but I agree with masks rule. Morning all. I might have to go and get a cup of tea with all this tea talk. Absolutely. I'm gonna run because my pantry is basically like just in a different room, but there. So I'll be back. I'm back. Okay. So I understand now why I couldn't remember what it was made with, because I've got 2 different boxes and they're made with different things. So let me do the thing. Okay. So it's called pulse pasta. I'd never heard of it before. It was right there in the shops. I had choices even. It's gluten-free as well. It's a good source of protein. But this one's made with chickpeas. And it looks nearly normal color. It's pretty standard color for silly or spirals. But this one's like a dark, it's harder to see. It's like a dark brown. But peas, lentils, chickpeas, and boulotte beans. I mean, I have no idea how they taste. I like chickpeas, so that's a win. And I like boulotte beans, so that's a win. I don't like peas, and I'm ambivalent to lentils. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. So we'll see. We'll see how they go. We'll see if I like them. I'm just going to put them there, but Louis is probably going to, jump up and attack things because that's Louis' game. While I call chickpeas death beans, why are you allergic to chickpeas? Sally said, I completely forgot that she's in the house now and not in the shed. The shed's gone. There is no shed. Like the grass has started growing where the shed was. It's very sad. I'm very disappointed by that whole thing. So while I've got this camera, so like I was down to like this little dregs of this sort of like ball of, that was it. That's the last of the purple. And if you guys follow my Instagram, which if not, why not? You should go and follow my Instagram. Then the knit picks order arrived. The balls are slightly bigger than I anticipated. Okay, so there's that one. There we go. Like that's the standard size, even though it's like a little flat pancake version of it now. It's so big. I mean, of course, it's going to be 5 times the size, right? I get that, but my brain did not give me that, okay? So when I opened up the box and I've looked at it, I was just like, oh my God, this is enormous. Oh gosh. Anyway, it is, we have 2 of these. There's 2 of these little ball babies. Now, I mean, who knows if it's going to be enough for the blanket? I may have to go and order another one yet. Okay. I don't know. Seriously, it's bigger than my head. It is. It's bigger than my head and my neck. So yeah, it's enormous. Now, I've got a link for knit picks. So if you guys want to go and hit up knit picks for your own Brava 500 gram balls, please use my link. I would very much appreciate that. It is, Brava comes in a huge range of colors. The 500 grams do not come in as many colors. There's an interesting selection of colors that it comes in. I was actually quite surprised to find the purple in there. or the eggplant, everybody. But yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised. Now, it did take a while to get to me. And the thing that ticked me off the most was, yeah, I get it. It's got to come international, but it sat here it had been handed off to the local delivery. So it was out of customs, and it took a week to get from the Brisbane airport to me, which is a 30-minute drive. So I was less than impressed with that leg of the service. The rest of it was like, I get it. That bit annoyed me. I'm just running back through the chat here. No, every time I put chickpeas in salad, I choke on them. I love them, but they don't love me. I understand that. Sally has linked up my IG. Thank you. We need a review once you've tried it. Oh, is that the pasta? Yes, I will absolutely tell you. Keep an eye on my IG. I'll put it up there. Yeah, it's definitely huge. That's legit advice. Legit advice. I think it's bigger than a footy. Honestly, like a football. I really do. Yeah, I definitely think so. And Jackie, thank you for that link. That is a link. That's an affiliate link to Nitpicks. So anything you purchase, I will get a small commission on. I believe there's some sales happening right now. So go and check out and see what goodies you can get at a cheap rate. Sally says, I've been waiting for a delivery from Sydney. It's been about 3 weeks now, and it's just a standard size letter. Tim ordered, oh my God, I'm going to admit to this. Tim ordered a dog car seat for the car. He told me after the fact. And he's hoping that'll mean he can take Louis out without Louis getting car sick. Anyway, I'm still getting past the whole we're going to have a car seat for the dog in the car. It's going in his car. And it's taken quite some time to even get its first scan. So I'm a bit perplexed by how that's going. I know that I'm having problems with orders coming from New Zealand as well. They're just taking a really long time. Like I know they've been shipped. I've got their tracking number, but they're just taking a really long time again. Lisby's waiting on an order from the US, which she might get by Christmas. Oh, Jackie says that her Sockmatician yarn arrived from Skeins, took about a week. And that's awesome. It was vac packed. Do you think that would have made a difference? Like some of these things I'm waiting on are not big. They're not bulky. I think Louis will look adorable in his car as long as he doesn't, have his usual reaction to being in the car, which is not awesome. So yeah. But anyway, I'm going to drink some tea and I'm going to keep crocheting on this blanket. Claire has made it. Claire, member for 8 months. Hello. How are you going? Oh, Jackie, it came by DHL. That's the courier company. That's not post. But yeah, it's good to see Claire. Claire, did you change your alarm to actually be the right time? Did you? So, yeah. Ruth Young, welcome to the chat. A little late. It's all good. I'm on my way to my mum's house. My sister had oh gosh. Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry. I started reading that and I was very flippant until I read it through. I'm very sorry to hear that, Ruth, and I hope that you guys all can band together and yeah, there's a lot going on right now, isn't there? I'm very sorry, Ruth. Lots of hellos for Claire. Oh my goodness. Good news on the delivery front. Lisby has her wheelchair. Oh my gosh, Lisby, how long did that take? Does that mean you're leaving the house? Like you're actually able to go out again? Oh, wow. It took my tinker years to get over being car sick. Lots of frequent short drives helped. Yeah, we've found that short drives, long drives, it doesn't matter. It's all bad. Just seconds ahead to be the first member. I think I should be the first and a half member. Leanne and Claire were first met, like, you know how there's the names are green, like there's some green names on here, it means they're channel members. And Claire and Leanne had this battle to see who could be first, and Claire won, like just by a smidge, but she won. And Leanne doesn't agree, just doesn't. Talking about yarn with like-minded people, has anyone heard of glow in the dark or reflective yarn? Yes. Both. The reflective yarn I saw was an acrylic. The glow in the dark, I saw some in acrylic. I can't remember the brands, but they exist. They definitely exist. All good. Yep. Heard alarm, and then was watching one of Justin's videos on the $15 mic. Purchased it. Ha ha ha. Oh, you could have used, anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but you could have used my link for that, because I also have a link for it. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. I don't feel chipped at all. But it's a great mic. It's the one that, like, that's the same mic. Sorry, we're just going to derail for just a second. This $15 mic that's in this video, it was the same mic I used to use for the live dye sessions where I could walk around and still have the mic on. It was that one. Andrea Hall, it's good to see you. So glad that you've made it into the chat. Lisby, 2 years. It took 2 years for them to get your wheelchair to you. Far out. I ordered something from Amazon for my son's birthday. Shipping told me it was on the way, never arrived. Amazon told me it may have been lost and to apply for a refund. It arrived the following week, but I still got my refund. Yet, look, Amazon have rules. And if things aren't delivered within a set amount of time, you do usually get your money back if you apply for it back. Able to go out again. Still can't drive myself places, but I can get out. Oh, that is awesome. That's so good. I mean, I'm sure you'll be happier when you can drive yourself, but I'm sure that you will love it. So let me just have a look here. Made some crochet hats for my dad that had a reflective streak running through them, pure acrylic. Yeah, I definitely know there's brands out there doing it. I just don't know which brands they are. So yeah, I agree. Lisby, I'm not going to bring that one up on screen, but yes, that's definitely one. It's been a rough one for sure. All right, so let's jump into Craft Cam. We'll drop that off the screen so I can just keep crocheting. Yeah. So how's everybody going? Does anyone have any news to share in the chat? Claire, do you have any exciting things coming up in the chat that you can share? Just throwing that out there. Francis says, I ordered some music books 12 months ago, set of 6. One arrived this week and they charged me for the full set. 1 out of 6 arrived and they've charged you for the lot. Oh man, I would probably not cope well with that. I'm just saying. Dolores, yes, she does. Isn't that exciting? So cool. I sent my brother a parcel on Monday Express price. It arrives Tuesday, Hobart to Brisbane. So yeah, like Abby ordered something for herself, and it was definitely she hadn't paid for Express and they gave her Express. So let me just view that one. I just want to just check something here, you guys. Just give me a second because I actually recognize that name. So I'm just double checking. Oh, come on. Let me do the thing. Oh, it's not going to let me look. All right. That's all right. Just, yeah, it's fine. I am cheeky. Absolutely. You should know that by now. Heading back home from my visit with the daughter. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you got to see your daughter. It's been too long. It's definitely been too long. Everyone's getting some good news this week, and it's so nice because there's so much rubbish and horrible stuff, not just rubbish, but just horrible things happening in the world at the moment. And I want this place to be a bit more for some good news today. I think we need somewhere that we can look at good things. So we'll see how this is our goal for today. Oh, look. I'm so subtle, right, Claire? Claire is having a live stream over on her channel at Crochet with Claire next Wednesday. So next week you'll have Crochet with Claire at 10 on Wednesday, and then you'll have Fiberific Craft and Chat at 10 on Thursday. So those of you not in our time zone, you'll need to flip that around. I think that's 5 p.m. PST on Tuesday for Claire and Wednesday for me. So we're gonna try some stuff. We're gonna try some stuff, and we're gonna see if we can make Claire, because Claire's, Claire hasn't been live for a long time, so it's time. It's time for Claire to jump in. So it'd be awesome if some of you guys could come in and visit as well. Kathy said that she finished her temperature blanket while visiting with Caitlin. That is awesome. I'm just got to make my pattern bigger because I cannot see it. Wow. So it didn't slow you down. Traveling didn't slow you down. June 1st. Did we say July 1st? It's June 1st, Claire. Claire, it's June 1st, not July 1st. So, Josephine, you're right. It's definitely June the 1st. It's next week. Absolutely next week. My Spinners and Weaver group has our exhibition on the weekend starting tomorrow. Packed all my sale items last night. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. What? I had to exchange my glass tip spindle with another lady. I don't know how, but she claims that I have hers and she has mine. They both look alike to me. Well, I hope that you did it at her expense. That's all I'm going to say on that one. It is time. That's right. Absolutely. You better turn up. Dude, you better turn up. I'll just run live without you. That's what'll happen. It's be like, hi, Claire was supposed to be here. She committed to being here, but she's not. So it's just me. I've pulled out some crochet and I will talk with your people while we wait for you to finally arrive. That's what's going to happen. No, that's not what's going to happen. I will probably have a heart attack if you don't turn up. I just bought a secondhand floor loom on Monday. It's never been used. It's in perfect condition. Lots of extras, included free happy dance. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Okay, I made it home now and I can type my experience with chickpea pasta. Bring it. It was good. And I don't know if it'll be the same for you, but I eat a lot. I eat less because it fills me up more than normal pasta. Fantastic. Good to know. Make less. For my lunch serves, I tend to make some very small portions anyway. But yeah, I'll make less just in case. I appreciate the feedback on that one. The only exciting news I have is that I have my operation in 3 weeks. So hyped about it and can't come quick enough. Oh, that's so awesome. I've got my fingers crossed so hard for you, Sally, that it just solves all of the nightmares. I really do. What have I done here? Because I'm a Gumby. Straight away, first stitch, wrong place. Try again. Try again. Okay. Oh no, you had to pay. Far out. That's rough, Rebecca. And they look the same. Can you work? Is there anything that is on it? Did the people who sold it to you tell you needed to do it, or it was just her being a numpty? Seriously. I'd just be like, dude, back off. My spindle now, I licked it. Just send her a photo of you going, ah. I'm such a 12-year-old, honestly. That's how we solved all the fights in our house. Last biscuit, it's mine. Why? Because I licked it. So, yeah. Oh, dear. That probably explains a lot about my personality, actually, now that I think about it. Claire, can you pop the link into the fun zone? I can't figure out how to join your page. So we're going to be going live on Claire's YouTube channel, Crochet with Claire on YouTube. And I think all Claire's links for her Facebook stuff are there, but Claire or any of the mods, feel free to add those links in. I don't think we have a placeholder up for the live stream just yet. We're going to put that up next week. Oh no, I knew someone. I did none. I'm still in the middle of the row that I started. I didn't even finish it. Oh, I knew someone was going to ask. Guilt. All right, I'm going to keep going. Well, you know what? If the seller screwed up and sent you guys the wrong spindle, it should have been the seller's expense. That's all I can say. So I'm not impressed. You didn't even have it for 2 days. Man. that would make me double think about using that seller again. Honestly, like I'm sure the spindle is beautiful, but I would definitely think twice before using that seller again. Yeah, Claire. Haha, busted for doing no work on your blanket. Yeah, but I've been doing other stuff. Like, it's not like I just sat down on the couch with my feet up and doing nothings. I've done so much stuff this week. I'm actually in physical pain because of how much stuff I've done this week. You guys, like, calling me out on my crap all the time. What can I say? Thank you is all I can say, really. Like, that you care enough to call me out. Oh, gosh. Lisby says, I'm with Chantel. That's just garbage that you had to pay. I agree. I absolutely think that that's rubbish. Sally has got Claire's link for her YouTube channel. So, yeah. So you can go, if you're not subbed over on Claire's YouTube channel, I'm shocked. But go over and have a look, and we're going to try with this. We're just trialing out a live stream, so we don't know if there's a plan going forward yet, but we're trialing it out. We've got to ease Claire in and not put any pressure on her. Okay, it's like, here, Claire the horsey, here's some hay, little bit of hay and a saddle. No, I'm not going to do that. I question how often that happens. It probably doesn't happen that often. I'd really hope. I would really hope. But yeah, we'll see. Because, like, especially if it's like, oh, see, this is the problem. If it was like an awesome and gorgeous spindle and you're just like, oh my God, this is the bee's knees, I would give them a second chance. But anytime like any of that kind of stuff happens again, my brain would just be like, oh, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have trusted him again. Oh gosh, I hope it's better for you. So those of you that are like, oh, I hope I remember, I'll be sharing out Claire's links in my community tab once we've got that up and running. Just so that everybody remembers. So, but it like, I just need to clarify something just so you all know. It'll be Claire. I'll be around, but not on camera, and you probably won't even hear me. So that's the goal. It's just Claire, but I'm just running the software. So, yeah, fingers crossed, right? Where are we? The testing was fun. Yeah, I thought the testing was fun too. Yeah. That's right. When Claire actually sets the scheduled video on YouTube, there's actually a button that you can click that says set reminder. So you can go in and actually have it remind you that it's going live. That's actually a cool feature. YouTube have got some pretty interesting, fun features for their live streams now. Like, did you know you could make a channel trailer for your live stream? Like, come back at this time because we're going to be talking about this and this and this. It's like this little 5-minute video that you just link up and it just plays the second someone goes there. Some people would hate that because they're like, oh, it's live and I'm late. Oh, wait, no, it's not. This is a message. Oh. There's always complaineries. But sometimes you think, oh, no, I've missed it. And then you realize, that the message stops and you look at it and then you realize countdown time is still going. Leanne says, I love the set reminder. Yep, me too. I use it for a lot of different things. How many? Oh, Claire, I don't even know how many rows I've got to my blanket. I really should look. Hang on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this camera just so, because the deal with that I have is I don't show the pattern on the camera. So I just want to go to the next. Where's my pages? Pages. Oh no. There it is. Pages. I don't know where to look. Who uses this app? I'm on page 7. I want a different page. No, that's not right. I did something bad. That's bad. I don't want that. Stop doing that. Make it big. It's not big. So I did something bad. Oh gosh. I don't even know what I've done. So Oh, for some reason, there we go. We just want Knit Companion. I don't want the other. It's opening two softwares at the same time now. No. Oh, good. Okay. Knit Companion. I worked out the button that I need to press. All right, I fixed it. Okay. Does the pattern show you multiples? Yeah, there are. It's got a pattern repeat. There's like 15 or 18 pattern repeats in the thing. Oh, I found it. Yay. All right, I just need to double check. I'm doing large horizontal queen. Hang on, I'm just reading the extra. So 2 extra repeats of chart 1. Okay, so it's 128 rows extra. Grand total of 352 rows. And I'm currently up to around 230 because I'm rewriting. So I've still got like 120 rows to go. Bring back the pattern, page 9. Thank you. Oh, I just did something really dumb. I moved my thing. Let me look at where I'm at. See, I try to be helpful and it doesn't work, does it? Okay, let's look here. Oh, easy peasy. Count the start. Count the start. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Found where I'm up to. It's all good. Nothing to see here. Okay. Alrighty. Let's go back to this. All right. Yeah, so basically, Claire, see how I've got these markers here? That's your repeat. So you could have 1 or 2 as your repeats and totally do it as a scarf. Like absolutely could. Yeah, so I'm a good way through. I'm past half. I'm past half. I do have the paper patterns over, but they're further away, and I didn't have the page printed out that gave me that information. Look, I'm really happy with how the blanket's looking. Let's just do this. There you go. The blanket is just looking. Don't fall in my tea. I'm very happy with how it's looking, honestly. And I just I do enjoy working on it. These colder days that are coming up, I'll probably do more work again because we had a few warmer days. That one, that's the one we want. Okay, so keep going. Because now I'm like, I want to get through this little ball because I want to start the giant ball. And I'm thinking I'm still probably going to work from the inside of the ball, even though it's going to be a bit nightmarish. Just because nightmarish. If it would be too big to roll around is my issue. I do have a Chowgoo yarn caddy, but I just don't think it'll cope with a ball that size, honestly. I don't know for certain. I haven't tried it. I probably should try it before I complain about it. But, you know, most things aren't made for 500 gram balls. Like, that's the reality. So I think I'll just go from the inside, and when it starts getting all like nightmare, I will just re-roll it on a ball winder. That's my long-term game plan. Kathy says it's time to sleep. We have a long day tomorrow. Kathy, you be very careful with your big drive, and we will see you next time. Be good. So yeah, Kathy, like, I'm so excited that Kathy got to spend some time with her daughter. It's been a hard time for a lot of families, not being able to travel to go and see them. My brother Daniel this morning jumped on a plane to go and visit my dad at his new house. So that was fun. I'm so thankful that Tim offered to do that trip because it would have meant, you know, leaving the house at 6 a.m, which yuck. is all I'm going to say. What I will say is it would have been nice if they could have maneuvered around the house without waking Abby and myself up at 5 a.m. That would have been super awesome. So I'm probably a little bit more tired today. So I've got sore arms and they're not terrible. They're just noticeable. And I'm a bit on the, I'm probably going to utilize that extra coffee today. So yeah, just Game Widow says her dad started some radiation treatment. I hope that works out very well for him and that it solves the problem it's there to solve. Oops, I can't see that. Oh yeah. Okay. So you guys know what I'm working on. What are you all working on? I know, you know, Kathy was driving, but she's finished a project. So yeah, we'll see. Like, I'd love to know. I also want to say a huge thank you to those of you that are jumping into the fun zone and adding in additional, like, the things that we talk about under the video, so that we can follow that. Excuse me. That's awesome. So loving that. Ruth, yes, excellent question. Have you heard about the new Chowgoos? They do have a new needle set. If you want to go and check that out, it's Interweave was the only one who got an early set to be able to make a video. So you can go and check out Interweave's video to have a look at it. Originally, we were being told that the sets weren't going to be available until much later in the year, but I actually received an email this morning saying that pre-orders for the new sets can start happening at the very end of June, beginning of July. I don't have a price yet, but all the other, like, they're releasing a whole pile of other stuff as well. So those new cables, you can buy the cables individually. They'll be available for pre-order in early June. Now, when they're saying pre-order, they're not giving me a delivery date. So all I know is pre-order at this stage. I don't know how long between pre-order and delivery that we're going to be talking. But so I have, I'll be able to open up some pre-orders for some of the new cables and 3-inch tips. So if you use ChowGoo interchangeables, there's usually 4-inch or 5-inch tips, but they're bringing out 3-inch tips now in all the same sizes. And yeah, just lots of different little bits and bobs. It looks like they're bringing out some little ChowGoo scissors and some and a tape measure and just like a lot of little notions and things like that. So there'll be some stuff coming out soon once I've got a bit more information. I didn't want to start putting anything out until I could give a bit more of a definitive date, which may put me behind the 8 ball because other people don't seem to have a problem not being able to give that information yet. But I will definitely be keeping my eyes peeled, working out, because at the stage, all I know is pre-order dates are being accepted after this date, and that's it. Some things I have prices for, some things I don't. I don't have a price for the set. All I can say is, based on how it looks, it will definitely be a bit more expensive. Well, I mean, it will be more expensive. I don't know if it's a bit or a lot. It will be more expensive than the standard sets now. So yeah, Kelly says, new cables, do you mean blue ones? No, there's new cables. New cables coming. I'll pop some links over into the fun zone. You guys can check them out, but I'll do that after the live stream. Shelley Husband Squares for Leanne, working on her blanket. Awesome. Sounds like you'll need to do some unboxing when I get stuff. Yep, I can't even order it at the moment. And I actually sent them an email asking if I could possibly get something to make a video with, and they declined. So, yeah. I saw the video. I was just wondering if you knew about it. Yep, all the dealers know about it. Yeah. I think a lot of the Australian dealers are just sort of waiting for more information. It's a little frustrating. It's a little vague. Talk about vague booking. So yeah. Yeah. No, I think they're going to be great. And they look amazing. I can't wait to have a go of them, honestly. I really didn't think anything was going to make me change from my stainless steels, because I love the tips on them. But these look interesting. So we'll see. We'll see. Sue Ellen says, I'm going to pick a pattern and yarn to start a new crochet project. Awesome. It's really hard. Does this yarn match the pattern? Which yarns can be mixed and matched for the pattern? Too many decisions. Yes, that was actually one of the big selling points for when I did the Mystery Lace Club, because you just got a box and it had the yarn and the pattern and everything. I'd done all that for you. But yeah, it's definitely the hard point, and which yarns will work for knit versus which yarns work for crochet. And, you know, like, it's sometimes you've got to swatch it out. Sometimes you just got to swatch it, and no one wants to hear that. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. You're working, Lisby's working on some socks. Josephine is working on the Mirror of Erised, the Mirror of Erised cow from the Harry Potter knitting magic book. For some reason, words not working. All good. That's great. Like we're like, you know, at the beginning of a live stream and mouth stop function. So that's going to be awesome. It's going to be legit awesome. It's going to be wonderful to see. Can't wait to see it in person. Absolutely. So Crochet, not Crochet, what am I saying? ChowGoo are attending the H&H event, and that will be the first place that new sets will be seen in person. And then they will go wider from then. So we'll see. Rebecca says, what makes them special besides being 3-inch tips? I'm sorry. The 3-inch tips are not part of the set. That's an optional extra. I personally use a 5-inch tips for my ChowGoos for most things, unless I'm making a beanie, and then I have some 4-inch tips for those, or a toque, or you know, a knitted hat, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. But these are supposed to be like, the new ones look to be like a timber and metal. So they've got stainless steel tips, but they're made of wood. So we'll see. And it's supposed to be like a pretty solid, strong wood. Ironwood? Yeah, ironwood. So yeah, and it's going to come down to people's preferences, of course. It always does. But I'm very interested to have a look and see how the stainless steel has been fastened to the wood. That's always my concern, is will it eventually come apart? But ChowGoo are pretty good. They make pretty good tools, so I can't imagine they would be doing this lightly. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with all my ChowGoo tools, to the point where I get rid of other ones. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't need those because I've got the ChowGoos of those. So I'm just double checking I'm doing the right thing, because sometimes you get in a roll and you think you're doing the right thing, and then you look back at it later, or you come to do the next row and you're like, yep, nope, that's all fail. But we're nearly at the end of a row, so that's something. I found out something interesting this week. So you guys know that I'm a sci-fi nerd, right? And it's old news. It was an old video, so lots of people already know this, but I did not know this. But Misha Collins, who plays Castiel, or played, past tense, Castiel in Supernatural, knits. I had no idea. I knew he was very creative in many other ways. But no idea that he knitted. So I was like, wow, cool. All right. Because there's becoming quite a long list of like actors and celebrities who knit and crochet. And like, when I say this is old, I think the video is 3 or 4 years old. So it was not a COVID craft. And not that I will diminish anyone for learning a new skill during COVID. I think that was an amazing way to utilize time. But yeah, I was just a bit surprised. I was just like, wow, okay, he knits. Cool. Because he was doing something and he was like, oh, hang on, I've just got to move this. And he's lifted up and he goes, oh, I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm knitting a beanie. And that was it. It was a total throwaway comment back onto whatever else he was talking about. So I was just like, cool. Okay. Let me I just got a massive pop up from some software like, hello, do you mind? I'm busy right now. So those of you in the chat, what would make you try out the new Chow Goose? Just out of curiosity. I've seen Patrick Stewart knitting-ish. I don't know if he actually knits or not, or if it was just a photo op. I don't know if it was legit. A free sample. No, not a free sample. I'm just curious. Because, like, you know, a lot of us already have the tools that we love. Oh, Game Widow says just that. Curiosity. Fair call. Fair call. The swivel cables. Yeah. Like that, they're metal cables, but swivel as well. It's like a mix between their nylon and their red, but they're thinner and they're swivelly. Yeah, Jackie says the cables look interesting. I'd probably try the new style if I broke one of mine and the needles needed to be replaced. Okay. Yeah. That's actually a good way to trial things. Because I agree, those cables look really interesting. And I can get those in sooner. So I'm very interested to have a play with those. Oh, wrong stitch in the wrong spot. Sally says funny. Yeah, I think I'm a bit that way as well, Sally. And not just like that, but I already have like complete sets. Well, I already have the sets that I need. Do I really need another is my question. And I know a lot of people will have those same thoughts. But if they're superior, the temptation will be great. I'll be like, oh, yes, buy the bullet. But I don't know if they come in a small set. I've only seen photos of the complete set. So, and I don't buy the complete set because I don't use the complete sets. So for me personally, I just buy the small sets. Lisby says, I don't need another at this point. Crochet with Claire says, she just gave me an idea for a new video, celebrities who crochet. You may have that idea. Run with it. You may even be able to get a special celebrity guest. I don't know. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, Jackie, you know what? That's probably what I would be more inclined to do as well. It's hard for me to justify a whole set, but maybe some tips in the most common sizes. I haven't seen anything about buying individual tips in these ones. Not to say it's not coming. That's just maybe it's a little bit later. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, it's a tough call. It's a tough call, and you know, there's plenty of people out there who don't have their happy sets yet. You know, they haven't found what they love yet, and this might be the set for them. Sue Ellen says, I might have now just found that they sell Tunisian hooks with cables and honestly probably need some better crochet hooks. What I would recommend, Sue Ellen, is because their hooks are, so if you go and check on my website, you can buy an individual hook. The hooks that they sell as their bamboo hooks, they've got the same tip and everything. So you could try like one of their sort of $5 hooks and see if you like that style of hook before you go and buy the complete set. Yeah, so you can totally do that. But I would definitely, because as we all know, we all have our preferences for our crochet hooks that we use. I wouldn't want to go out and buy an entire set of Tunisian. I only find that I didn't like them. And I feel the same way about knitting needles as well when you're buying sets. If you can buy one or two, then I would definitely be looking at whether you like how the hook feels, how it feels in your hand, because they've used the same hook design, but just added on the gripper on the end for the, not the gripper, but the screw section on the end for the cables. I am a Clover fan, and I find that the tip, the actual hook is a little different. It's totally usable, and I have a set that I use for my Tunisian. Love them, love the cables to pieces, but they are different, so it might be worth a try. Dolores says, I use timber or bamboo needles as they are gentler on my hands. However, the size I'm using for my Christmas stockings has been really weak at the joins. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely understand that. It's not all needles are created equal. And that is unfortunate. They're not all created equal. And I will say one thing for ChiaoGoo, and that is they are solid. And if something happens, you contact your dealer back, because they also have a really good replacement plan. Like if they break or something within a reasonable amount of time. It used to be lifetime, but they've rolled that back a little bit. I think people were taking it a little bit far. So they had to, roll that back a little, but it's within a reasonable time. But yeah, it's definitely worth trying out new tools every now and again, because especially those of us that have had the same tools for a really long time, while we may be happy with them, whatever, it'll get to a point where we can't get those anymore to replace our tools. So we have to try something new. So it's always good just to keep your finger in the pie, as it were. Let me just look here. So that 1, 2, that, then that. All right. I was working through the end, just how the last repeat is different. Luckily for me, it wasn't that different, because I was already halfway through it before I realized I was there. And then 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I have snippers somewhere handy. I know. I made sure I had them before the live stream. There they are. I might not be available. Shockers. Absolute shocker. Okay. Here you go over there. And we need whatever this color is. I don't know what it's called. Next row. Oops, up you go. I just want to double check. Yep, I'm good. Just making sure I'm not supposed to be changing colors anytime soon. Okay. Sorry, I just need to concentrate while I do this bit. You guys know the drill. Or I screw it up 14 times and it takes me 11 million years. Okay. Let's have a squidgy ditch and get this next repeat going. What makes a pattern irresistible? Do you know, every now and again you realize that everyone you know is making the same pattern because it's just amazing? What makes a pattern like that for you? I absolutely have to start this right now, buy the things, and go right then and there. How are you keeping track which repeat you're on? Okay, so that's an excellent question, Kirby. I have a couple of things all going at the same time. So I have stitch markers showing me the repeats sections in the row. So there's 15 sets of these all the way through the end. 15 or 16, I don't remember, something like that. But then I also have knitting companion software on my iPad with the pattern on there that's helping me go from row to row to row. And then I I also have printed patterns just over there. I don't need them that often, that I'm marking on where I need to change colors, because I'm a cheapskate and I have not bought the upgrade to Knitting Companion so I can write on the patterns, which I'll probably end up doing, but I haven't done. So any writing adjustments I pop onto the printed pattern. So I've kind of got 3 things going at once. The stitch markers, it's not really, it's just more of a keep an eye on making sure that the repeat on the pattern is finishing at the same point kind of thing. Whereas I think the iPad's doing the majority of the work with the written pattern, but it's just off camera. Because the deal that I have with the designer is that I do not have the pattern on camera at all times, which I understand, because you guys wouldn't have to buy the pattern, which is dirt cheap for what this pattern is. I don't even, like, what is it, $10? Like, seriously, it's a really amazing pattern. My phone is trying to record everything I'm saying, which is hilarious. It's Googling things. Okay, go away. That's weird. Claire says, I wish I knew the answer to that, as everybody were making my patterns. Fair enough. You think, I'm gonna say, do you mean color and texture? I'm guessing color, and that there's a typo there. I could be wrong. I might have just learned something new about you. Now let me just, because I'm in this section here at the very beginning, it's different to the rest of the repeats. So I do just need to keep a little eye on the chart just to make sure I'm not screwing it up, because that would not be the first. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. And we are now in the first repeat. Okay, move that over so I can just see the repeats doing the repeaty things. All right, I'll just keep going. I should be good now. I think I should be good now. We'll see. You know, reality kicks in every now and again, like, not good, really not good, not doing good at all. Need to fix that up. Backpedal, rip it out. Totally have to do that every now and again. All right, so if that question was, tricky. What makes you decide, nope, I'm frogging that, it's not for me, I'm giving up on a pattern? Usually, if I frog something, it will be because either it's taken me 11 billion years to make and it's no longer my taste, or the yarn didn't work with the pattern, because I just about never ever use the yarn they recommend. Being in Australia, it's a lot harder to get some of the yarns, not just like location wise, but cost wise, because postage to Australia is horrible. But yeah, so I don't always use their recommended yarn. That's on me. I get it. And then the other thing is, sometimes the pattern is naff. Like the pattern's been poorly written, and you just like, you know what? I only got so many crafting hours a week. I don't want to deal with this, and just move on to something else. So let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Sally says, I think texture and stitch pattern is something that she looks for. Awesome. Hey, Steph, welcome to the chat. Lurkers, say hi. If I've selected the wrong yarn for it and it doesn't look right, absolutely. If I frog it, it means that I made too many mistakes or I got bored with it. Yeah. Knitspin Girl says, I just frogged the start of a shawl. The yarn is lovely and the pattern is lovely, but they do not work well together. Linda says, frustration causes her to frog. The wrong colors will cause said frustration. Currently working on one sock, which I'm about to quit because of that. The pattern is awesome though. And that's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes you're just like, I love this pattern so much and I'm going to make it with this thing. And then you're just like, God, this thing makes it look hideous, but it's not the pattern, it's the yarn. So yeah, all the fun of putting together something, you know. And do you guys ever see like the conversations around online where someone's being gifted something handmade? And it's becoming less now. People are understanding that handmade is special. But like there was a long time there where it's like, oh, did your nana make that? And it's like, yeah, got to wear it. And it's just like, dude, your nana made that for you. She thought about you for 60 hours while she worked on that. So, yeah, that bugs me. Yes, to the writing style is hard to follow. Like that little soap saver bag that time, Chantel. Yeah. Oh my God, that pattern did my head in. Absolutely. Yep. I remember I may have had a tantrum on live camera. Oh, that was bad. Jackie says, yeah, some things you just don't love anymore. Absolutely. Deb D, welcome to the chat. It's good to see you in here. Probably not the yarn, just apparently I really don't like knitting with orange or red. Look, you know what? I like yellow. And I realized that working on this, like getting through this massive yellow section, like, hang on, it's more, bring it over. This took so long because I would only work on this section during live stream, right? Because and it wasn't until I started the orange again that I realized how much it was the fact that it was the yellow that was doing my head in. Now, it's not to say the yellow doesn't work. The yellow looks amazing with this purple. It really does. And I'm glad it's there, but it definitely slowed me down because I'm like, oh, more yellow. I don't want to do more yellow. Oh, yay, I'm changing colors to a different shade of yellow. It was very exciting for me getting through that section because there's no more yellow. Once I got past there, there's no more yellow for the rest of the blanket unless I decide to stick some in the border, which is highly unlikely. I always find written patterns difficult to follow, but love picture style crochet patterns. So more like charts. I like having both because with crochet, I do love a good chart. But sometimes the charts aren't super clear. So I like to be able to just double check it by reading what they said to see if it means what they think it means. It's the whole Inigo Montoya thing. So, you know, that word doesn't mean what you think it means. Rainbows include orange and red. Yes, they are. It makes it hard to knit rainbows at the moment. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you as well. Like with the orange and the red. Absolutely. But that pattern included a full color inspirational quote. Don't all patterns need? Oh my God, it did. It was a whole page. Like it was. Oh my God, did that pattern had 4 or 5 pages to it. And I rewrote the pattern and including a chart, I put it on 1 page. And I'm sorry, but there's no inspirational quote on mine. Oh my God. Yeah, Poke the Bear. Oh my gosh. Hey, Sue Singleton. Welcome. Is it welcome back to the chat? I thought that you were already in here. I'm just checking. I don't know. Maybe I just thought you were here. That's weird. Is that weird? I don't know. Oh, hang on. I don't know. Sue Singleton. It's all good. There was a different Sue here earlier who may still be here. And I just got yours mixed up. It's all good. Francis says, I love yellow. Makes me feel happy. I love looking at yellow. Turns out I don't love working with yellow so much. Yeah. I hate red and yellow for Lisby. Like we all have the colors. Like I love black, right? I love wearing black. I love the look of things in black. I do not like to work with black yarn. Unless I'm sitting at this desk with the light over I actually turn some of these lights on when I'm crafting with this light over the top on the white desk because I'm like, dude, I am not dealing with that black yarn any other way because black is a pain in the bottom when it comes to crocheting and knitting it. It just gets very difficult to see. But, yeah. But I love things made in it, especially like black with sparkles through it. So good. Sally says, who does? You know what? There's plenty of people making stuff with black yarn. Otherwise, companies would not sell black yarn. It's that simple. Like when I was looking at colors to use as the running color through this, I nearly got black. And yeah, I nearly got black, and I'm just moving that one. And decided, no, I think I'll go with the purple. And I'm so happy I went with the purple. The purple just works so well with all of these, and it just makes a huge difference. And I don't think black would have looked as good after all. I'm working on another blanket. By working, it's sitting in a corner waiting for me to finish this one. And it's got a lot of black in it. And I actually think it was the black yarn that made it so I put it away. I had no problems with the really big motifs that were mostly colors with just a little bit of black, but there's all these little pieces, like little triangles and things like that that go in between those that are mostly black. And I'm just like, I can't see it properly is what happens. I blindo and I can't see the stitches properly. Mind you, I didn't have this set up then. So I am probably more inclined to finish it now. And it's another blanket. It was actually the first blanket I started using this Knit Picks Brava yarn, which I really, really like. Sue Ellen says, I'm so glad my girls have left school. No more black mittens and scarves to be uniform compliant. My daughter's school is dark blue. So it makes it so much easier. Yeah, let me just double check that. Cool. I'll tell you what, my arm is a bit sore. And it's just this muscle, like there's two spots. And it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Leanne says, I love all the colors, but yeah, find some difficult. Not colors so much, but textures. I'm not keen on yarn with heaps of halo. Alpaca isn't my favorite. Yeah, I definitely like a smoother yarn. And for me, it comes down to what I'm going to be using it for. Like, I don't mind like Leo 2, which was a mohair wool blend, mohair silk blend, I should say, which is just lovely and light and warm and glorious. I'm allergic to alpaca, so I can't use alpaca. So it's not so much the halo that gets to me. I don't like halo that drifts off, though, like fluffy clothes that sort of, leave themselves imprinted wherever you put them down. Let's have a look here. Speaking of patterns, I'm doing a simple wave blanket, but the pattern calls for chain 2 at the end of each row instead of chain 3. It doesn't make sense to me as to why. Well, some designers do prefer a chain 2 and some prefer a chain 3. And you as the maker can change that. It will change the look on your first stitch, though, or slightly change their instructions. So if they're like, insert your hook into chain 2, like into the chain 2 loops of the previous row, you have to remember that you adjusted it. So yeah, but you're right, it doesn't always make a difference. Like, there's lots of different ways to have the exact same outcome, and people describe things differently and people prefer things differently. So for a crocheter whose tension is a little looser, a chain 2 works really well because they don't pull it so tight, but they still need that height. Whereas somebody who crochets much tighter will not get the same amount of height distance. So for their chain 2 could end up being like this big, whereas for someone with looser crochet, their chain 2 could be sort of this big. So yeah, it just depends on the creator as well as the designer. But you're a big girl, you can change your pattern. My kids don't want me to crochet them school scarves, mittens, or beanies. No, mine didn't either. But I made her, I knitted her these mittens, which were just like a round mitten here with a thumb and like big, long, sort of here. But when you flip it over, there was a little circle section where you actually knitted a little bit more rib, but you can actually poke your fingers out and still play with your phone. and then pull them back in and keep them like, so it's just got like a little, I call it her glove mouth, little glove mouth on her hands. I will find the pattern for that and throw it into the fun zone. She's 17 and still wants more pairs of those. So like I'm okay with that. I found something that she really likes. And I made the first set in just some dodgy colored grayish yarn just because that's what I had. And she still wore them. So yeah, that did work. So, but yeah, more knitting than crochet for her though. When she was little, crochet all the way. Now that she's bigger, she prefers knitted stuff. I did quietly complain when my sister requested black yarn when I knitted her a scarf last year, but it did look great in the end. Yeah, that's the thing. It does. It looks fantastic, except you've got to deal with the whole making it thing. I'm like, you want a black? Do you sure you don't want me to weave you a scarf? It could be so much easier if you just let me weave it. No, I think knitted would be good. What do you know? You don't know anything. Woven would be heaps better. I've just finished knitting a hat with lace weight mohair silk held together with a finger weight merino. It is so soft. There is the Thatcher hat from Adidas Designs, and you do that with it. Oh, it is so nice. You get a really good sock yarn and a really nice mohair silk. They work so well together. Absolutely. I found a nifty set of battery operated crochet hooks with the little light in the hook. Helps with dark colors. So I trialed one of those years ago when they first came out, those light up hooks. I don't like it. Like, throw that random statement of hate right out there and let's lay it on the table. I didn't like them. I didn't like the actual hook itself. The light up bit was no, never mind. I found that my hook moves too fast to actually be useful as a light. So yeah, I was just like, oh, this is annoying. I just felt like there's a little firefly buzzing around my hand. It was frustrating. Oh yeah, you see, Game Widows, she's got to sort of, her kid knits her own mittens now. Absolutely. Steph says, makes sense. I'm like John with the death grip when I crochet. Then yeah, 3 would suit you better than 2, I'm sure. Yeah. Gabby, that is exactly right. Making something with black yarn means that you really do love that person. Absolutely. They may not realize what goes into it when you're making them something with black yarn, but you know what goes into it. Sue says, that says something about my slow and steady crochet style. No, that's the thing. Like, everybody has totally different styles, and I wiggle my hooks around like a crazy person. So it just sort of bugged me having the light on the end. And admittedly, I was using it in a low light situation, which is kind of why I was like, I want to try one of these out, which made it probably seem more glowier. We're going with that. That's a word now. But yeah, like, everybody has different crochet styles and everybody has different preferred hooks. And that's why there's so many companies out there making all these different hooks, because everyone does something else. I think it's Claire's running a poll. I'm not sure if it's on a YouTube channel or in a Facebook group. And she's asking people if they are a pencil holder, like me, or if they are a knife holder, like this. And even that simple difference really changes the style of hooks that you can use. Claire says she's also not a big fan of the light up hooks. My mother-in-law requested I crochet her a scarf in black eyelash. Oh no, that's like double hate, isn't it? It's like eyelash yarn, bleh, black yarn, bleh, black eyelash yarn. I would have just said no. Sorry, no. I don't care if you buy the yarn. No, I'm not doing it. It's like, do you hate me so much? Do you really hate me so much that you want me to make this out of this? And that you'll wear it like once, because then you'll realize how annoying eyelash yarn is. Oh, and she saw me in a tear of frustration when I had to frog a lot of work because I dropped a stitch and didn't put a lifeline in. Oh my goodness. That's so sad. Yeah, I don't even know what to say, Sally. put lifelines in, like, especially in black yarn where you can't see it very well to like fix it up. Lifelines are your friend. Like, so look, I remember, and this is a long time ago, I was at a craft show, and I was chatting with this young lady about lifelines and stitch markers and just using some tools to because she was scared to try lace. And I was just talking to her about, just utilize the tools that we have available, and it'll work really, really well. And then her mum walks up behind her. So I say young lady, she had a toddler, like she was not a child. And her mother walked up behind her and said, if you can't be bothered to learn how to read your knitting, I'm not looking after your child while you knit. And I'm sort of standing there like, do people really think that? Like, obviously that person does. But do people really feel that using stitch markers or lifelines or anything like that to assist and to make their knitting journey easier is somehow diminishing their skills? Like, seriously, I was like, I think it was not long after that I made my stitch marker video for the channel. Like, this is what I mean, it's years ago. And I think I don't think I was subtle. I think I may have said something like, "Oh yeah, answer that mother." Basically, you're a donkey. I don't know exactly what I said, but I do remember having like, if that girl had have watched the video, she would have known exactly that I was talking about her mum. I'm such a professional. What's a lifeline, says Lisby. So when you're knitting, more so than crocheting, Lisby, you actually run you don't want it to be fluffy yarn, so nice round clean yarn through all of your stitches, and then you just keep knitting. And then if you drop a stitch, it can't drop any further down than that lifeline. And then you can actually frog back to the row before the lifeline and then tink it out and actually pick it up. And it just makes the world of difference, especially when you're knitting lace. It just helps you to know that it's not the end of the world if something happens. Like, you're just not going to lose tons of work. Look, I would say I'm an experienced lace knitter. I put myself into the experienced category, and I still use lifelines. And it's got nothing to do with my skill. I can absolutely read my pattern. I can absolutely read my knitting. I can tell you exactly where I'm up to in the pattern without my stitch markers, without all this stuff. But I find that I enjoy the knitting process if I'm not having to worry about these things, especially if I've got, like, at that stage, Abby would have been only 5 or 6. A small person running around in destructo mode. You want to just be able to drop your knitting and go and parent, not go, oh, hang on a second, I've got to do a thing. Like, yeah, Oh, wait, is Leanne leaving? Hang on a second, Leanne. I have a few errands out of the house, but enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you over at Claire's channel next Wednesday and then back here Thursday. Awesome, Leanne. See you then. Enjoy your errands. Dolores says, I wouldn't knit lace without stitch markers at the beginning and the end of the pattern repeats. I have the skills and I still put in stitch markers for every single pattern repeat. Every single one. Like, I could need 50 stitch markers. I'm going to find 50 stitch markers. I might put one every second pattern repeat if there's more than that. But, it's like, I will use stitch markers. It's not that hard. It's not a huge amount of work to slip a stitch marker. It's really not. Do you have a video on how to do that? I think I do. There is my 5 tips for lace knitting, and that has got lifelines in it. So if you have a look on the channel, it's a few years old. But it's all still valid. So 5 tips for lace knitting, and I show you how to put a lifeline in. Dolores says, I can tell where I'm up to by reading my knitting, but the markers tell me immediately if I muck it up rather than finding out at the end of the row. That is exactly why. You find out the second you hit the marker if you've screwed it up. You don't wait until you get all the way to the end and just be like, oh, you find out straight away and you can fix it in this section. You don't have to stitch markers make things less stressful. And I don't think that they diminish your skills. Using stitch markers helps you to learn to read your knitting. Absolutely. I think some of us, not everybody, some of us are scared to try new techniques when it comes to our knitting and our crochet. And especially with knitting and knitting lace and knitting things that are highly textured, it can be very daunting because if you drop a stitch, how do you fix that? Lifelines and stitch markers just change that. They're like your safety nets. And that makes it so you're more confident and more comfortable to try more and more interesting things. And I don't see that there's a bad side to that other than needing that many stitch markers. Like, that's the bad side. Alison Keys, welcome to the chat. I always use lifelines for lace knitting and stitch markers for the pattern repeats. Absolutely. Lisby says, sweet. I'm going to go find that after this. I like your old videos. Oh, thank you. I'm going to have to make some more, right? Like, that's the goal, to get more out. Nothing wrong with using as many stitch markers as you want. I agree. I absolutely agree. I love my stitch markers. They make it easy to check and relax and enjoy. Why make it harder than it needs to be? You guys are all full of the good common sense, and this is why I love hanging out with you. Absolutely. My knitting jingles. I use a lot of stitch markers and progress keeps. Absolutely. I just heard a noise and it's my neighbors. It's fine. And it keeps the counting minimal. You spend more time knitting and less time counting and fixing. Absolutely. I have a bad habit of forgetting yarn over, so the stitch markers help to stop that. See, you know what your things are. So you guys are awesome. Working lace with hundreds and hundreds of stitches. I don't want to find out 2 or more rows later that I screwed something up. So much truth. So much truth. Yes, it does not diminish your skills. It makes them better. Agreed. Oh my gosh. You guys are awesome. You're all awesome. This is why I like hanging out with you. You all agree with me. No, you don't. Not about everything, but about this you do. And this is one of those things. I could not believe it. And I think it's because it's stuck in my head. And the look on the woman's face, because like I was showing this girl stitch markers and it was just like, oh, are you showing my daughter, illicit, illegal things? That was kind of the look. And I'm just like, oh my God, it just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work. Lisby says I used heaps of stitch markers when starting the Queen. I'd never done mosaic before. It made it so much easier. This is my first mosaic project as well. And that's why I've got all the stitch markers in too, because it was my first. I did the little sample piece that she recommended that you do, which is still floating around somewhere. But this is my first mosaic crochet big project. And stitch markers make it less stressful and lets me know when I've screwed up a repeat straight away. Now you guys have seen me screw up rows and rows of repeats. So stuff still happens. Jackie's thrown in the link for that video. Thank you, Jackie. That's awesome. Holly says, my feeling is that you're a more experienced knitter because you know the importance of using all of the tools. Yeah, and like understanding that they are optional tools is fine, but if you've got them, use them. Like, seriously, if you've got them, use them. They're not bad, it's just not bad. Yeah, I agree with you, Knitspin Girls. That mother doesn't deserve her daughter to make her a thing. I just couldn't believe the attitude, like the whole, well, I'm not going to mind your child while you knit, because you're not doing it the way I want you to. I'm like, really? Like, anyway. Oh dear, yes. But the thing to remember is just because it's the way I do something doesn't mean it's the only way, except I think you're a numpty if you don't use stitch markers and you think that would make your life easier. But it's not necessarily wrong. It's just different. To tell myself that all the time when somebody does something, I'll be like, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done it that way, but it still works. And you're like, yep. Okay, it still works. So that's awesome for you. But God, that was stressful to watch it. Yeah. Crafting is such a personal thing because we're making something with our hands. Like it's not woodwork. You know what? It's not woodwork. It's not a dining table. It's not, anything like that. It's not steel, but we're still making it with our hands. We're not building a home, but we're building warmth. And not just like the warmth of a blanket, but the warmth of knowing that you loved someone enough to spend 150 hours of your time in your spare time that you may or may not have a lot of. You're creating warmth. So, gratitude. Anyway, when you use a lifeline and then a few rows later you drop a stitch, does the lifeline catch the drop stitch? Yes, it does. It doesn't let it run any further down. It's a dumb remark. Oh, you're only a good knitter if you yeah. Like saying you're only a good knitter yeah, absolutely. Now I personally, I'm like, hang on a second. No, that wasn't a dig at me. I love continental knitting and I knit better because I'm a continental knitter, but that is because I was a crocheter first and continental knitting works better for me. But there are people that continental knitting does not work for them. And yet they're amazing at English knitting or whatever other style. And we all get the finished thing at the end. Oh, yeah, it's a dumb remark. It's exactly right. You kind of just stand there going, what? And we've all made dumb remarks. I still remember a time, and I've mentioned this a few times, where I made a comment over a friend's knitting, and it was just because she knitted a different style. And at that stage, I didn't understand there were different styles. It was even before I continental knitted. And yeah, just dumb remarks happen. Claire says, I'll be using lifelines more. Yeah, lifelines are great. I tend to stick one in every 4 rows or so. If you are using your Chow-Gu needles and you're not using stitch markers, so this is the thing to remember, because if you get you need to make sure that if you're using stitch markers, your lifeline runs outside of the stitch markers. Otherwise, your stitch markers get stuck. It's like using stitch markers in crochet then. But you can actually attach it onto your needles, some of your needles, and some companies actually have a gap in their cables for you to attach a lifeline, so that you can just be knitting along and take the lifeline with you. But the Chow-Gu, you can actually, you can, depending on the yarn you're using, obviously, but poke it in the hole where you put the needle tighteners. So yeah, lots of options out there for you to try and see if they work for you. But those particular methods that attach the lifeline to your needles or your cable, they don't work if you're using stitch markers. Or like if you're using a stitch marker like this, you could then go along and remove it. Remove it off and then put it back on just on the lifeline, just back onto your knitting, so that your stitch marker can come with your knitting and the lifeline stays down here. But yeah, if you're using like straight up round ones like blinglets or something like that, you can't use that way because they get stuck there. They're never coming with you. My mum always said I knitted funny back when I was learning English style as a kid. Now she doesn't come into my continental knitting and steals the socks that you make. Okay, well, sometimes, mouth closed is good. There's definitely lots of ways to make the same thing. So, yeah. Find the way that brings you joy and do that. And then find the way that brings you joy and that makes you less stress. So if you're using tools, yeah. I mean, Claire's like, is that what the hole's for? I mean, if it's the gap in the cable, some brands have a gap in the cable. Yes, that's what that's been specifically designed for. But when I like poke it into the hole for tightening, that's technically not what it's for, but it can totally work. Yeah, or just understand that your stitch markers will stay there. till your lifeline is removed. Exactly right. Like you need to make sure that you slip them off on the next row or you end up like it folding over. Don't ask me how. I know that. Don't ask. Oh, see, I teach you the things that I've already screwed up on so that you don't have to do what I did. You can learn from my mistakes. That's my whole goal for you guys, is learn things from the mistakes that I made. Sally says, I remember I got told by a designer that I can I should drink less, that I should consider knitting the normal way so that the pattern could go in the same direction. I'm a lefty and known as a mirrored knitter. Yeah, okay. So did you tell that designer to blow it out her? God, the normal way. Like, you know, I understand asking the question, can you knit right to left or only left to right? Like, that's a legit question because some people can go both, like, can knit both ways. But to say it's the normal way, to that is what I say. Crochet with Claire, you've been hanging out with me in some other live streams, haven't you? Where I pick on people and make them hydrate. I have water. I will do so. Everybody, it's hydrate time. Oops, nearly knocked my tea over. Oh, there's still a... That last cold sip of tea. This needs to be on a shirt. There's no such thing as normal. Yeah. I 100% agree. We need to put that on a shirt. Goodness me. Francis is off. Have a good weekend, Francis. Sorry, I'm all raspy now. I left it too long between hydrations, didn't I? Goodness me. We're nearly at the end of another row here, you guys. Oh, yeah, I did. I mentioned it in the live stream on my other channel. Yeah. Guys, we actually have we have another guest tomorrow over on my other channel. So if you are interested in learning about live stream and using live streaming in your own business or whatever it is that you're doing, we've got Viper from the Men About Tech coming in, and he does some really interesting things with live streaming. So you should pop on over. I don't have a link handy. It is there. It's bookmarked. Excuse me. But I don't have it. I didn't put it in the description. But yeah, he's a very clever person and also all about the community, which you guys know I'm a bit partial to that. I kind of like the community myself. Viper, yes, he is hilarious. Yeah. Lisbia said, I've decided I'm not great at color changes and don't understand jogless stripes. Lisby, did you watch the video that I made when, like the video series that I made for these socks where I actually knit through a pair? Because I did, like, we talked about the jogless striping there and a way to do it. I don't know if you've seen that and it's not working for you or if you're trying something else. Yeah. Oh, yeah, pineapple and barbecue chicken pizza. Also, don't forget he's a massive Pepsi fan. And I jokingly said that the Pepsi tastes like the water that's in the stream downstream from the sewer plant or something along those lines. Something equally as classy. Gosh. I may have skipped some of the descriptions. Okay. Well, maybe go back and have a little look at some of the ways to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do jogless striping, and I think I just show one or two of them, maybe just the one that I used. And go from there. Sally says, yeah, I remember you vaguely saying that. Yeah. So the only cola that I drink by choice, if I'm out somewhere and I'm being polite, it's different. But if I'm ordering a drink, the only cola I get is the Jaratos Mexican cola. I don't like Coke. I don't like Pepsi. So I'm probably not the best person to say Coke or Pepsi. So you guys let me know in the chat. Are you Coke or Pepsi fans? If you've got to choose between two colas, which one are you going with? But yes, that was a fun stream. So a while ago, I was a guest on Viper's channel, and it was a charity stream for a creator that we both very much respect. And so we just chatted for hours just about random stuff, and we're just silly, having a good time. Coke Zero for Sally. Coke, normal. Holly's a Coke person as well, doesn't like Pepsi. Coke all the way in Australia, Pepsi in the US. And that was another discussion that we actually had, like a serious one, was the difference between the beverages between US and Australia, because in Australia we use cane sugar and in the US they use beet sugar. So it actually totally changes the flavor profile. So I think is it John in our chat who likes Mexican Coke? I think it was. Natalie says, Fanta or Lift, will only drink Coke if it's mixed with Bacardi. I mean, fair call. I hate the chemical aftertaste of Pepsi, and then I don't drink any no sugar drinks. If I'm like trying to watch my sugar intake, I just don't have soft drink. It's that simple. Or I hit up my trusty SodaStream machine and bubblerize some water. That's it. I don't like, there's so much bad stuff about fake sweeteners that if you can't have the sugar, have something else. And again, in my opinion, like if you like Coke Zero and Diet Coke and all that sort of stuff, like more better for you. Holly says that Mexican Coke is better. Okay. Bub says that Coke makes us sick. Claire doesn't like either. Can't drink normal Coke or vanilla Coke anymore. Too sweet. When I do that big drive down to Bendigo, like those of you, like I haven't done it for a while, but that I would actually get a bottle of Coke on the second leg. Like, so on the way down on my second day, I grab a vanilla Coke, and on my way back of driving on the second day of driving, I would grab a vanilla Coke. But not on the first days, just the second days. Second days, I was always so much more tired, and I needed that sugar to keep me awake. Probably not the maybe I should just have naps or rest or something, but I didn't want to do that because it would take longer. Carbonated water helps nausea. Okay. Bubbly water is the best. I love bubbly water. Alison says, yeah, our SodaStream is always getting a workout. I go through phases. I'm currently back in with the SodaStream again. There's some research that shows that artificial sweetness are so bad for you, confuses your system with no energy arrives after the sweet taste and does awful things to your gut biome. Okay. Yeah, I'd read some varying research on different things, and I didn't know what was fact versus opinion. So personally, I don't like the taste. I don't like the aftertaste. So I'm just like, dudes, I'm out. I'm out. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. We have finished another row, peoples. Hang on, one more. Oh, ginger beer. Oh, yeah, I like ginger beer. Ginger beer is good. Very much so. The Indian tonic water or bitter lemon are the absolute best. Look, you know what? I'm a bit like Natalie with this one. If I'm having Indian tonic water, it's got gin in it. Oh, Mark is here. Hey, how you going? Have you put a link to your other channel in your about page? I haven't, Mark. I'm torn about it because it's different. If people are usually if people are coming here, they're coming here for yarn, and it feels weird to me, and that's why I haven't done it. But it's there, so someone could grab a link for Mark for the other thing. That would be amazing. But yes, we did. We met because of that charity stream. He didn't. Yeah. he didn't realize that I was joking as hard, I think, about the pineapple stuff. He doesn't like. He does not believe pineapple. Sorry, he being Viper doesn't believe pineapple belongs on pizza. I vehemently disagree with that. I practically mainline iced coffee when driving to Melbourne and back. Yeah. Rebecca says, I'm not a Mountain Dew fan. I used to love Mountain Dew. I did. It was my go-to soft drink for years. And in Australia, it's now Mountain Dew with added caffeine. I'm out now. I can't have anything with that liquid caffeine in it because it makes me sick. So I'm like, you just wrecked my favorite drink. And now I'm like, what soft drink? Fine, I'll have lemonade. I feel like a little old lady. I'll have lemonade. I like the sharp taste of carbonation gives. Don't like Coke once it's flat and lost that sharpness. Yeah, I don't like any flat soft drinks. Oh, yeah. Oh, you guys. In Australia, we get this amazing ginger beer that's spiced ginger beer. And it's like all Christmassy. See, because you guys are like, oh, we just have nutmeg or something hot. But here we're like cold drinks because it's the middle of summer. And it's like a 40-degree day and we're melting and dying. But yeah, so, it's just like, oh, far out. But this spiced ginger beer is just so, so good. Chintami, I disagree with you, and I'm not putting your comment on screen because of how much I disagree with you. Sally's popped a link in for the other channel. Thank you, Sally. Chintami's mum hates fizzy drinks. Okay. I love Mountain Dew too, but won't drink it now with the added caffeine. I wonder how many people are like us and how many people just stop drinking Mountain Dew because of the caffeine. Game Widow says, I drink soft drinks for the fizz. And that's the thing for me. I love carbonated water. I do. I make up 1 liter bottles all the time and keep it in the fridge. And because I get to make it bubbly, I can make it like extra bubbly. Like one time I left I poured myself water and forgot about it and came back like 2 hours later and you could still see the bubbles fizzing off the top. I was just like, I think I overcarbonated that one, but I'm still drinking it. So yeah. Have I had the Gillespie ginger beer from Tasmania? No, I have not. I will have to look out for that one. So yeah, it's definitely it's a hard one. Like trying to stay moderate with your soft drinks, like Coke, like Pepsi is evil. I don't know, Alison. I have no idea why they put added caffeine into Mountain Dew. Claire says, do they not make regular Mountain Dew? I haven't seen it. And even now, like the added caffeine thing seems to be gone off the label. When you look at the back, it's got caffeine in it now. Like it's an ingredient, which means they're using the liquid caffeine, which just messes me up something fierce. Which is hilarious because I drink coffee and I drink tea and I have no problems. The second I have anything with the additional caffeine, like those mother drinks and monster drinks and V's and all those sorts of things, I can hear my heart beating. Like when I drink those, I hear my heart beating. So I just don't drink them. I think I had them a couple of times just because I didn't think maybe it wasn't that caused the weird reaction that I had. Maybe it was something else that I was doing at the same time. And yeah, I tried a few different brands and it was just like, nope. So anything with guarana or added caffeine, I cannot have. Because it is scary. You should not be able to just hear your heart beating because it's just beating so hard. That's just not how it's supposed to be. So 1, 2, 3, then 2, then 3. I'm just at the beginning of a new row, guys. So I'm just getting into the line of things here. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, yeah. Yep. All good. I thought I'd screwed it up, but I hadn't. So I'll just bring that marker up higher so I could see it at the start a bit better so I have less heart attacks. Okay. They should have added caffeine into it originally. They always had it in the US, from my understanding. Oh, okay. Fair enough. The carbonization process of soft drinks has a diuretic effect, according to my urologist. Yeah, I still make sure I drink plenty of flat water. Yeah, or hear yourself blink. That's another good one. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to hear yourself blink. Now I also like a good lemon squash, but I don't drink solo because I actually think it's a bit salty. No, you're right. It is. I don't like it either. My doctor said too much soft drink could be contributing to my bouts of laryngitis. Wow. I will say that I have, on average, a large cup. I will not deny that. It's a large cup of bubbly water, maybe once a day, probably more like 3 times a week. But only when it's like, I'll have one after live stream because my throat gets dry and the bubbles hit that nicely. But yeah, it's you've always got to make sure there's plenty of water in your diet, no matter what you're having. Holly says there's always been caffeine in the Mountain Dew in the US. Okay. Because it wasn't always here. So yeah. I'm already hypo without the sugar. Yes, she is. We use the soda stream a lot. Water for me and the boys added cordial. Yep. Drinking soda water during summer is so refreshing. Yeah, I agree. But yes, like anything bubbly does do awkward things to your body. Whether it's stomach lining issues, gut issues, whatever. So, like everything in life, we must consume with moderation and consideration. Consider what it will do. And are the benefits and side effects worth the effort? So, in summer, I like a large glass of soda water with a splash of lime. Look, I'm really boring. I just have the mineral water, or not mineral water. I just have the soda stream bubbles. That's it. Very boring. Now, if I'm having gin and tonic, I want legit tonic. I won't use soda stream for that. Yeah. But I will use the soda stream for my vodka, lime, and soda, even though it's not technically soda water. I will still partake of it. Have I done this correctly? Then I think I have. 1, 2, 3. I'm on a weird row. It's a weird row. Like it makes sense, but it doesn't. And I keep double checking myself because it just feels off. And I don't want to have to pull back 14 rows to fix it later. Carbonized water might increase the way the caffeine is absorbed. Think of how champagne works so quickly. Possibly. It's always had the highest amount of caffeine out of all the sodas, which is why I always drank Mountain Dew in high school. Okay. Because I remember there was a big thing here where when they started bringing in the caffeine, a lot more teenagers drank it. So, yeah. I remember when we were in Bintan Island, Indonesia, I asked for lemon squash. They had no idea what I was on about, but made me one. A glass full of lemons, squashed, and then filled with lemonade. Was so sour. Yeah, I can imagine. We have a lemon tree, and Abby, when she was younger, decided she wanted to make lemonade. So she juiced a pile of lemons and then added some soda stream mineral water to it. And that was it. Yeah. No sugar, nothing. I was like, this is very good. My mouth is turning inside out. It was, and we had to have a discussion. And we discussed the balance of the food flavors, and I got her to have a sip of it. And then we learned that she needs a good couple of tablespoons of sugar. But now she makes really good lemonade. So, can't complain. was a learning experience. Claire says, if only lifelines worked with crochet. Well, with crochet, you're less likely to have the drop stitch issue. And yeah, I'll tell you something I love about the Queen is that every row is a new like yarn. So if you make a mistake, you can just pull it back to, you know, like even if you've got to do 10 rows, you can just pull back the 10 rows to the same point and then just finish the ends of those 10 rows again. Whereas usually you would have to like totally rip back 10 rows. So that's one advantage of this blanket and the style that this is that, you know, if you make a mistake, it's easily repairable. So yeah. I'm just having a look here, making sure I'm doing the right thing because it feels so wrong. This row feels wrong. Can somebody message Tina and say Chantel says row number just feels wrong? I'm like, it looks right. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just keep going. I'll just keep going. Oh my goodness. Okay. I mean, we've got a bit left in this row. I was really thinking that we were going to get through this little purple ball today to join on the new giant ball. Was everybody here at the start when I showed you guys the giant ball of yarn that arrived? If not, I'll lift it back up again. Chintani says I get headaches if I don't drink enough water. You and me both. I have to drink like easily 2 liters of water a day. Have you seen stevia? Yes, I have. I've seen stevia. I've had stevia. I don't like stevia. I don't like agave either. I'm such a baby. It's all good. I'm glad that these things exist for other people though. That is an awesome part of the pattern. Absolutely it is. I think it's a fantastic like design thing, just making it. And because we don't have to, like it would suck if we had to weave all those ends in because like there are legit as 11 billion ends. Every row has 2 ends. So if we had to weave them in, that would not make this worth it. But because we get to do that encompassing border that you can just sort of trim them down a little and poke them in, like I'm up for that. Hello. But yeah, so you know, it's definitely got its perks. Yeah, sorry. Is it? Okay, because my brain keeps going, no, there needs to be a row that's only got 2, like not a row, but like a section that's only got 2. But I just checked and they are all 3. Elizabeth says you like it because you haven't done the border yet. Look, yeah, I'm sure that I'm going to have issues with the border. I've seen that just about everybody has had issues with the border. But I'm going to learn from some friends who have done the border and try the double slip stitch border and go with that one and hope that works for me. I've done the test border. I did a test border, which I had no problems with. It's that first row is a little fiddly, sure. But, you know, once I got onto it. Claire says, does the crochet pattern slant because it's all worked on one side? Not as far as I've noticed. Is Jen Deal in the chat? She's done a few of these now. I don't think so. I think it's fine. Yeah. Do you need the border? Look, if you don't have the border, you need to do something with all these ends, like all of these ends. So it's your call, really. I mean, if you want a little fringe, you could try and trim them all to be down to be even. But yeah, I would rather make the border personally. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the border. Because yeah, reasons. I don't want to do anything with those ends, like other than give them a bit of a haircut. That's it. That's I want that to be the end of the ends. Bit of a haircut. Thank you, linesman. Thank you, bull boys. Game's over. Oh, Deb says her queen's in the naughty corner. Deb, why is your queen in the naughty corner? You need to tell me. It's so pretty. I think so too. I love it. I think I know a friend of mine grew some, and she swore by it. And I mean, I don't know if, because she dried hers out and ground it down. I had hers, so I don't know if it was a processing thing for when she processed it, but I had fresh stevia. I've tried the manufactured stevia, and you're right, that's terrible as well. But yeah, it's just a taste thing. You know, like I'm Australian. We're very much accustomed to the cane sugar taste, and the stevia taste is so off compared to that. So yeah, I just have less sugar. That's all it boils down to. I just have less things with sugar in it. Like I don't actually drink soft drink that often. I will probably have just a plain water that's been put through the soda stream. I mean, the biggest intake of sugar that I have regularly would probably be in my breakfast cereal, honestly. I don't add sugar to my tea or coffee. I don't add sugar to anything that I'm cooking, except for if I'm making cakes or sweets and I get sugar added. But like I don't add the spoon of sugar to my pasta sauce or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But everyone's taste buds are different. So if stevia is working for you, then go hard. Like it's got to be better than actual, refined sugar. So Sally, but you've been in it. Have you picked your hook back up? Because I know you've been in a bit of a, focusing on other things. But if you've picked your hook up and you're not working on it, you guys are leaving me hanging. Leanne's not working on hers. I'm just here by myself working on my queen for what feels like forever. I just need to say something. I love the queen. I love the queen so very much. I regret choosing the full-size queen that fits a queen-size bed rather than going with the knee rug. And yeah, I could probably have been done by now if I hadn't have gone for the giant queen, which 2 feet in. Chintami, I'm just gonna look. I've just got to the end of this row to do, and I'm just gonna do that. Like we're a little over, and I understand if you guys have all got things you need to do. I 100% appreciate you jumping in and hanging out with me for as long as you already have. So I get it. But I'm just going to keep going for just a little bit longer today. I bucked the trend and didn't start one. Lisby finished hers well after, excuse me, started hers after me and finished before me. But Lisby made a little one. Yeah, I started it, and I started Charlotte's Universe. Okay, fair enough. I'm trying to be really good. I'm trying so hard to do the right thing with my projects and actually finish some. I don't want it to be the joke anymore that, Chantel started the thing, but did it get done? No, because she got sidetracked and worked on something else instead. It means I can listen to you and be here without feeling guilty lunchtime. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad there's no guilt for listening. Chintamani, I appreciate you checking that I didn't have anywhere else to be. Thank you. I do try and sort of plan things out. I've got stuff I have to do after tomorrow's live stream over on the other channel. But other than that, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty crazy. I'm planning on trying that weird pasta for lunch today. No, we're not calling it weird pasta. We're going to call it pulse pasta. Pulse pasta, not the. I've got to stop. My brain goes, yeah, the weird pasta. Oh, did anybody want to see the giant ball of yarn that arrived? Oh, there's actually 2 of them, but I've just got one of them here. I wasn't sure. I didn't see the chat after I mentioned it just before. So if anyone wants me to bring that up, I can. Hang on a sec. I must have missed what Deb's response was to that. Oh, yeah, I see. Alternative pasta. Yeah, the alternative pasta. That's a cool idea. Oh, just be warned, it takes ages to cook till it's soft. All right, thank you. That's a good note because I tend to time like the sauce based on pasta. We're not calling it the healthy pasta because it's not. No pasta is actually all that healthy. But yeah, we'll go with the. I'm just going to call it what they call it, pulse pasta, because it's made with pulses rather than wheat. We'll see. We'll see if it tastes yucky. The sauce I tend to make is got pesto and stuff in it, so it's pretty flavorful. So it should be good. It should be good. I'm hoping it'll be good. Yeah, this one's apparently gluten-free as well. I didn't realize it. I bought it because it's got protein and fiber. But I didn't. But yeah, they're gluten-free too. So this one is made with chickpeas. And this one is made with peas, lentils, chickpeas, and borlotti beans. It looks very dark. I'm very curious. So ball of yarn, giant ball of yarn. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Giant ball of yarn. It's as big as my head, apparently. Here we go. Standard ball of yarn. Giant ball of yarn. So yeah, it's a 500 gram, 1,000-yard ball of yarn. It's a lot. it's a lot. I mean, yeah, my brain was like, oh yeah, it'll be 5 times as big. It feels way more than 5 times bigger. Oh, hi Abby. How you going? It's not much smaller than a newborn. No, it's not much smaller than a newborn lamb. No, not much smaller at all. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I kind of thought I would already be into it, to be honest. But you know, we'll go with what we've got. We'll go with what we've got. The ball is humongous. It is humongous. Absolutely. It's not so. I mean, this is not a travel project, but that's definitely not a travel ball of yarn for sure. I think it is bigger than my head, Lisby. I think you're right. I think it's definitely bigger than my head. It's just a huge ball of yarn, and I got 2 of them. So my fingers are firmly crossed that that's enough, but I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to need more. Maybe not another 500 gram, maybe a couple more of the 100 gram balls, but I'm going to wait until I'm closer to the end before I get more. Stacey, welcome to the chat. I've been listening along and just about to pull the last stitches I'll put the last stitches in my sampler. Oh, that's going to be exciting. How long have you been working on that one for, Stacey? But yeah, like crafting is one of these fun things that we've got to take enjoyment from stuff, right? Because it's just a lot of projects are long-term projects. Like, yep, sure, we can totally make face washes and small things and knock them out fast. But a lot of our projects are long-term projects. So you've got to take enjoyment out of things like bigger than your head size balls of yarn. Oh my gosh, my face when I opened that box. I should probably have waited. That would have been amazing for like a video, but I wanted to check the yarn because the box was destroyed. So I wanted to sort of double check that everything was all right in the bags because the box was just crushed. So, but everything was fine. No issues. Started it back in March. Wow. That is a long time. Is anybody else as shocked as I am that next week is June? Because I'm just sort of like, what? I've got stuff I've got to get finished that there was like a deadline for, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get that done. And I've realized, do you know what? You need to work on that in the next couple of days because you're going to miss your deadline. So I'm like, far out, because June is next week. So it's all right if you got to head off, Sal's. It's all good. I'm nearly done here, and I can keep an eye on stuff. It's all good. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you in here again. I've got just a few more repeats to go, and then we are done this row. And that is row. We're currently working on row 72 of the pattern, row 172 of the pattern, which is more like row 240 for me. I mean, I'm guessing because I've only numbered up to 215 like a donkey. I'll have to go and check it. I should just continue numbering it because I need to put my next color change in. It's not on that chart. So I'm really hoping I wasn't supposed, oh, there's no way. So I'm like, I'm hoping I wasn't supposed to change, but I've only done that much in it. So it should be good. Have an awesome day, Sally. Veggie sausage rolls are mixed. Meat will be started shortly. Man, I haven't had homemade sausage rolls in such a long time. I've got a friend here in like local who makes them every now and again, and hers are just divine. I have no idea what her recipe is, but they are so good. And just I've had other homemade ones, they just do not compare. And even like the local bakery with their fresh ones that they make themselves still don't compare. Yeah, just so spoiled. So I might have to make a phone call, be like, oh, hey, I'm not sure if you remember me. No. I'm almost finished my third color change in my socks. Hey, Lisby, when I was making those socks, my brain was like, oh yeah, there's just a few rows to the next color. Like you can legit, like we'll just get to the next color and then we'll have a break. And then you get to the next color, you make the color change, and then you're halfway through the next color and you're like, oh, I'll just get to the end of this color and then have a break. And just realize that you just never stopped. For me, it was getting through the actual like the patterning was trickier than like the motivation. I'd bring some up in September, but I'm not sure they would travel well. Yeah, Kelly. I mean, I don't know if she'd give it to me. It's like a family recipe. I mean, it's worth an ask, right? It's worth an ask. We could always talk to Leonie at the retreat and see if she can just make arrangements to bring all your supplies and like, you know, and you could just make us a batch for afternoon tea one day. Just throwing that out there. Come to retreat and cook for us. Oh my gosh. I'm kidding. I don't expect you to do that. Just to make sure that's clear. Retreat's going to be upon us sooner than we realize. I'll have to get some more emails out to you guys just to remind you that I know it's coming. I might need a day. I might need to visit that day. Oh my gosh. That would be funny. Natalie says, I was just looking at flights. Oh, that's right, because you guys are flying up. Maybe if I came up the day before and just borrowed someone's kitchen. I mean, that could work. I don't know, Rebecca. That's a question for Kim. I don't know what's going on there. Retreat, yeah, legit. We are nearly at the end. Tell you what, crocheting is making the muscles that hurt more. Because Crochet with Claire is coming on the retreat. Natalie is coming on the retreat. Game Widows will be at the retreat. Sally's coming to the retreat. Who else is coming to the retreat? It's here right now. Kelly is coming to the retreat. I can't see who else is, but yeah. Claire is coming to Is he coming to? I mean, he's not coming to the retreat, but yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm so close to the end of this row, but my arms are starting to cramp. I'm like, I've got this much to do. I can make it. I can make it. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, go to an exercise physiologist, they say. It'll help, they say. Oh my Lord. Wow. Okay, I've got to double check because I just sort of seated the pants the end of this repeat. I'm just going to double check that I did the right thing. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. Wow. Okay. Awesomeness. Oh, Deb's coming to the retreat. Jackie can't make it because she's got to move house. Tali is coming to the retreat. Tali is in the chat as well. We finished the row. It's finished. Yay. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's so awesome to hang out. Thank you for keeping me company while I finish that row. It's all done. See, look, right to the end. Yeah, so I will see you all. Excuse me, we've hit the end. We're running about 15 minutes over. My throat is totally parched. I'll see you all here next week, unless you want to jump in and join the live stream tomorrow with Viper over on the Chantel Hills live streaming channel, which we talk about live streaming. And I do interact with the chat differently over there. It is a different situation. So I will see you all here next week or wherever we see each other. And you have an awesome one. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye now. If I can find how to turn it off. There it is. Bye.